Welcome to Mystery Crime Files. Now listen closely. This is an experiment. For 3 years, I created over 200 true crime stories, and I never uploaded them. Until now. You're watching something I made years ago. At the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. Some of these stories are rough. Some I still think about at night. Whether you want 1 a week, 2 a week, or 3, that's up to you. But if you ever want me to drop a story that is from right now, in the future, or present, to see how I have evolved in storytelling, well, it's simple. Get this video to 1,000 likes. And remember, right now, you're watching me from the past.
Now, it was a beautiful sunny day in Waukesha, Wisconsin on Saturday, May 31st, 2014. And detectives Michelle Trasani and Tom Casey were looking forward to a very quiet day at work. But then, just before 10 a.m., a shocking call came over the radio. A passerby had found a 12-year-old girl stabbed and lying on the side of the road. And this girl was Peyton Lautner, and she had been stabbed 19 times. Now, for years, questions about this case have captivated the country. Because the real question is, should the person who stabbed her be charged with a crime if they are underage? Or should they be charged as an adult? Because the main reason for this case, as you will hear, is that Slender Man made them do it. Now, Slender Man is depicted as a thin, unnaturally tall humanoid with a featureless face wearing a black suit and a tie. Now, the memes of the Slender Man and its creepy lore started in 2009, but there was also a major motion film called Slender Man, and that released in 2018. Now, the Slender Man is often associated with the forest and or abandoned locations, and has the ability to teleport anywhere that it wants to. Now, being in proximity to the Slender Man is often said to trigger a slender sickness, which includes a rapid onset of paranoia, nightmares, and delusions, accompanied by nosebleeds. Born on May 16, 2002, Morgan Geyser showed a lack of empathy from a young age. Now, according to USA Today, her parents were surprised by her reaction when she first saw the movie Bambi for the first time. Her parents said that they were so worried to watch it with her because, they thought she was going to be so upset when the mother died. But the mother died, and Morgan just said, "Run, Bambi, run, get out of there, save yourself." She wasn't sad about it at all. Still, Morgan gave little indication that she'd someday indulge in any violent fantasies. She was quiet and creative. These are qualities that drew her future victim, Peyton Lautner, to her when they met in the 4th grade. Now, these two girls instantly hit it off. Morgan later described Peyton to police as my only friend for a very long time. And Peyton also remembered Morgan as her best friend. She said she was funny, she had a lot of jokes to tell, she was great at drawing, and her imagination always kept things fun. But Peyton remembered that things kind of went downhill in the 6th grade when Morgan befriended a classmate named Anissa Weier. Now, Geyser and Weier developed an obsession with Slender Man, who was a fictional creature with a featureless face and tentacles that had become the star of internet memes and these creepypasta tales. But Peyton didn't share their enthusiasm in it. Peyton told Morgan that it scared her and that she really didn't like it. But Morgan said she did really like it and she thought it was real. Peyton also didn't like Anissa and saw her as cruel and jealous. But while Peyton thought about ending her friendship with Morgan, she actually decided to stick around. She said that everyone deserves a friend. Meanwhile, Morgan and Anissa had begun to plot her murder. Their obsession with Slender Man went deeper and deeper than anyone realized. And though Peyton Lautner didn't know it, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier plotted her murder for months. Anissa later told police that they whispered about it in public. They used code words like cracker while talking about using a knife and itch while discussing the actual killing. And their motive revolved around Slender Man. They thought that they would appease him by killing Peyton, and that he would actually let them live at his house, which Morgan claimed was located in the Nicollet National Forest. And if they didn't kill Peyton, the girls allegedly feared he, Slender Man himself, would come for them and their families. So on May 30th, 2014, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier decided to put their plan into action. Now, they plotted to kill Peyton during what should have been an innocent, fun-filled occasion, which was a slumber party for Morgan's 12th birthday. Now, as Morgan and Anissa later told the police, they had multiple ideas about how to kill Peyton. First, they thought about duct taping her mouth during the night and then stabbing her in the neck. But they were too tired after a day of roller skating. So the next morning, they plotted to kill her in a nearby park bathroom instead, where her blood could just go down the drains. Then at the park bathroom, Anissa actually tried to take Peyton's head and knock it against the concrete wall in an attempt to knock her out. I mean, Anissa said, from what I read on the computer, it's easier to kill people when they're either asleep or unconscious. And it's also easier if you do not look them in the eyes. That's what she later told police. So she said, I kind of, banged her head up against the concrete. Now, Geyser remembered things the exact same way, noting during her interrogation that Anissa tried to knock Bella out, and Bella was the nickname for Lautner. So instead, Geyser and Weier decided that they would kill Peyton Lautner in the woods. Now, the unsuspecting Peyton Lautner followed them into the forest, where she obeyed Anissa's instructions to lay down and cover herself with these leaves that were on the ground, thinking that it was all part of this innocent game of hide and seek. We led her there, and we tricked her, Morgan told the police. People who trust you become very gullible. And it was sort of sad, she also said. Now, when police asked what happened next, Morgan responded, I already told you, stab, 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 stab. She added, it was weird. I felt no remorse. I thought I would, but, I actually felt nothing. So as Anissa looked on, Morgan stabbed her friend Peyton 19 times, slicing through her arms, through her legs, and her torso. She hit two major organs, the liver and the stomach, and nearly stabbed Peyton in the heart as well. And Morgan said that the last thing Peyton said to her was, I trusted you. And then she said, I hate you. And then, of course, Morgan said we lied to her. Anissa said that she would go get help, but of course, that didn't happen. We didn't do that. So instead, you got Morgan and Anissa, and they just left Peyton bleeding alone in the woods with a backpack full of supplies. And having fulfilled their grisly mission, they were determined to go and now find Slender Man to become his proxies, aka his apprentices, aka his disciples. And now, following the so-called Slender Man stabbing, Morgan and Anissa hit the road. They left Peyton Lautner to die in the forest, but she managed to crawl her way out of the woods and to flag down a cyclist for help. And thankfully, at the hospital, the doctor saved Peyton Lautner's life. And she said she remembers the first thing that she thought after she woke up was, did they get them? Are they there? Are they in custody? Or are they still out? And in fact, the police already had Morgan and Anissa in custody. They actually caught up to the girls near the I-94 freeway while Peyton was still in surgery. Now, they were brought to the police station, and both girls swiftly confessed to their crime. Morgan stated at first, is she dead? I was just wondering. leaving the police with the impression that she didn't really care if Peyton had lived or died from this attack. And then she said, "I might as well just say it. We were trying to kill her." And while Morgan said that Anissa had insisted that they needed to kill her to please Slender Man, Anissa claimed that the murder had been all Morgan's idea. She claimed that Morgan said, "We have to kill Bella." Then ultimately the police began to suspect that Morgan had been the mastermind behind the attack. Now, Detective Tom Casey told ABC there was a lot of deception in Morgan's interview, and Detective Michelle Trasani seconded him. And she also noted that there was a clear sense of who the ringleader was and who was driving this force. And between the two girls, it was definitely Morgan. Plus, in Morgan's bedroom, police found many drawings of Slender Man and drawings of these mutilated dolls. Plus, they also found internet searches on her computer, like "How to Get Away with Murder" and "What Kind of Insane Am I?" Now, both of the Slenderman girls were arrested and charged with attempted first-degree intentional homicide. Now, Anissa later pleaded guilty to a lesser charge and was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, and she was sentenced to 25 years in a mental health institution, but she was actually released in 2021. But this was a conditional release. Now, Anissa is required to live with her father, receive psychiatric treatment, and agree to GPS monitoring and limited internet access. However, Morgan's sentencing was a bit different. Now, she also pleaded guilty, though not to the original charge, and was also found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, but Morgan was handed a sentence of 40 years in Winnebago Mental Health Institute near Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Now, she remains there to this day and is expected to stay there for the foreseeable future. The good thing is that Peyton Lautner is doing well, and in a public interview that she had in 2019 with 2020, she expressed optimism and gratitude and actually discussed her plans to go and start college. Now, Morgan, on the other hand, will likely spend the next several years confined to a hospital. Hopefully, she and Anissa get the help that they desperately need. Now, I think most of us know that there is no real Slender Man, and that was a made-up fantasy for backroom channels, modern TV, and movies, but we do know one thing, especially around this time of year, and that is that evil does exist. And it would hardly be a stretch to imagine that what if these two young girls were indeed possessed to truly believe in this Slender Man as a real thing, but all the while something else was communicating with them, telling them exactly what to do. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Slender Man is real. I mean, sometimes rumors actually are real. Sometimes they are. And maybe Slender Man was telling them to actually do these heinous acts. Or maybe they were possessed by something like a demon, and a demon was controlling them, maybe acting like Slender Man, for them to commit these heinous acts as well. As always, I'll let you be the judge.